journalists around the world, please welcome the Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch,
I love you, Johnny!
and The Thing.
Hey, what time is it? Say the thing.
That's not really something I say.
It's clobbering time.
That's just in the cartoon.
Fantastic Four: First Steps is Marvel's latest film, this summer blockbuster, and tells the story of the four scientists, astronauts that go to space and come back superheroes. We all know the story. But this film focuses more on the family and how they deal with a new arrival, which is Sue Storm's baby. Before we get into it, Baz, did you had any knowledge of Fantastic Four before you went in?
Somewhat. I knew that they were superheroes. I knew that the kind of what would you say era, the multiverse that they exist in, the universe that they coexist in is kind of like almost like I want to say 1960s America. I knew that much in the shape of the cars, what New York looks like, so forth and so on. I knew that, and obviously I knew about Mr. Clobber. I knew about him and what he looks like because he's unmistakable. There's so many toys, children's toys made of that particular one. But other than that, not really. No, I feel like I missed the boat on this one a little bit, Alex, with Fantastic Four. So did you know anything about their history or, the comic books?
Yes, I mean, I knew a bit more than you did. I've watched all the other films, and because this is based obviously on comic books, I haven't read the comic books because, again, they're one of the first comic books. I think they came out at the same time when Superman was making the comic books with Superman was making a big entry. But the story of the Fantastic Four, I knew it very well. And I was really, really skeptic about going into this film because the other films are not very good, I would say. But I was pleasantly surprised because this film knows what it wants to be. So besides the beautiful scenery that we just talked about, so this retro futuristic combination of old with new type of environment, of background, where you have those tube TVs and you have the computers with plastic keys and all of that stuff just makes it very, very palpable, and I really enjoy that. But also the fact that you spend time with these guys, this family of four, in their own casual life, not when they're on a mission, just when they're in the kitchen, they're cooking, they're preparing for dinner, they're dealing with family stuff, which I really enjoyed. And also the actors make it work really well. So did you get that sense of family vibe in the beginning, of a happy life in the family in the beginning of the film, the first half of the film?
Yeah, it's kind of like mum and dad live with, like, it's almost like having two good great uncles, really, isn't it? That's the kind of vibe. And obviously bringing a baby into that environment as well, so it's going to be like super protected, and that's kind of cool about it. And I think you're right, there is a big emphasis here in this movie on family, and especially looking out for each other and no one left behind, and particularly halfway through the film when almost the general populace of New York and the world kind of have been told that they could save themselves if they sacrifice the baby, and obviously there's a great speech by Sue Storm about that, isn't there, Alex? And so that in of itself just makes it more than just a superhero film, which I feel like Superman lacked a little bit, which I'm sure you've got your own comments on that, haven't you?
Yeah, well, a little bit, you'd say. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's I mean, my opinion of it is totally 100% better film than Superman, the latest iteration of Superman, just because it knows what it wants to be, and it gets you into that mood from the beginning. It's going to be a fun film, comedy, with these four characters that have superpowers, and that's what it carries on to be on to the end. The fact that it does have these more meaningful conversation about what family is, about what decisions and what is a right decision, because you say about the speech that Sue Storm talks about, what being a family is and why is it important and what sacrifices you make as a family. She's the only character that thinks like that, when compared to Reed Richards, her husband, that is thinking we need to fix it somehow, and he's trying to find a scientific solution to it. Sometimes it's not only about, these reasonable calculated solutions to everything. It needs to be a bit more emotional. So it's all very well balanced. You know, the rebel that is the Torch, which is the Johnny Storm, the character, and then the good old, you know, warm big hugging bear that is Ben, which is the big stone guy. All of them, they're really good characters, and this film shows it. It doesn't just expect you to know about it. And even the evil, the villain in the film is good. It's a two-part villain, and you tell me what you thought about them.
Yeah, well, this is interesting. This is the Silver Surfer, isn't it? The lady who's kind of very stoic and almost robotic in nature, but she is, you know, as it unfolds, has her own story of trying to protect her own planet, and she's you know, taken captive by this giant who she ends up having to like work for him and destroying other planets. But you know, the sad truth is she's a victim herself.
Are you the protectors of this world?
Yes, we are.
Your planet is now marked for death. Your world will be consumed by the Devourer. There is nothing you can do to stop him, for he is a universal force, as essential as the stars. Hold your loved ones close, and speak the words you've been afraid to speak. Use this time to rejoice and celebrate, for your time is short. I herald his beginning, I herald your end, I herald Galactus.
But yeah, it's like everyone's got their own story, and that's the thing. There's a lot of human emotion in this, isn't there, Alex? And I think that's where it's good. The only criticism I'd have is because there is so much human emotion in this film, the story actually does dig quite deep into it. There's not actually a great deal of showcasing the powers of the four. I don't know if you agree with this or not, but they don't seem to get to kind of flesh out what they can do in terms of their powers, do they really? There's not an awful lot of that. There's actually quite a lot of dialogue in this film that I didn't expect.
Yes, of course it is. I mean, yeah, and I'll come back to the dialogue in a moment. I don't think that's a criticism. I think that's a good thing that we don't see smashing and banging, and every other minute you get an action scene just to show you how awesome these superheroes are, which Marvel films tend to do. That's why I was a bit worried that I'm going to go in and I'm just going to watch a CGI fest for 2 hours essentially, and it's none of that. But most importantly, you know, there is a scene in that film that we talked about, and it was a moment when the whole cinema was laughing out loud. Is when these three men in the family are trying to connect a baby chair to the car, to the seat of the car, and even the three of them, all astronauts, scientists can't make that work out. And that was just so funny, that's so relatable to everybody in the audience, that everybody is laughing out loud. So that is a current problem that is just very good writing from the screenwriters. And you get all these moments all over the place, even from the little robot they have, Herbie it's called. It's all, he's got some of these moments, and you know, there is sort of that tiny little fun moments that make them human. These, even though they're superheroes, make them human. And I think that's the best part about it, which unfortunately Superman didn't have a lot of. It was, instead of just a lot of things happening to Superman, instead of him showing himself of how human he is. But I think this was definitely is worth the ticket price, and it's actually worth another viewing, to be honest, from my opinion.